Greetings. Welcome to Patiently Waiting for Nothing. This is Rita Stewart, aka Shemsu-t. I thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We just wanted to come and participate with you in your life and share some of our calm and peace and joy and really get a sense of what it feels like to move past this conversation of fear that most of us are finding ourselves in. So we have a wonderful podcast set up for you. We have an amazing guest that we're going to be sharing and asking questions to. And it's really going to be an intimate and empowering conversation. However, before we get to all of that, I want to welcome our ancestors into our midst. So I have a plant here, and I have some fresh, clean water, and I'm going to pour libation. And so what I would like you to do is I would like you to think of those ancestors on the other side that you know are watching over you and wanting you to be peaceful and know that you are safe. So you bring to mind their names. And as I say Ashe, you think of another one, and we'll then bring them all around us so that we can feel their light and they can see ours, because they too are learning through this process right along with us. Okay, so I have a beautiful plant right here, and we're just going to pour libation. Okay, pouring libation now. Ashe to my grandmother. Ashe. 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 Who else do you have? Ashe. Come on. Ashe. Come on. Ashe. Yes. And now I also want to pour libation to all of the unborn children who are looking at us and wanting to know who they need to come in and through so that they can assist us on this journey. Ashe. Thank you. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get ready for an amazing conversation. Qiana, are you with us? Are you here?
I am Shemsu-t. I'm here.
Hey, thank you so much. I know that you are a busy lady, so I just appreciate you taking time out of your schedule and time with your family and all the things that you do to bring light to the world. I appreciate you. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so appreciative and grateful to be able to do this tonight, to bring some love to people and some information.
Very good. So why don't you start off by telling people a little bit about you?
Okay, so I'm Qiana Thompson, and I'm the owner of Holistic Harmony Mind, Body, and Soul, and it's a solution-focused therapy agency with 100% satisfaction and building quality, passionate relationships. I am a therapist by trade, so I'm a licensed professional counselor. I'm also an executive master course life coach. I facilitate the life course curriculum to certify new life coaches. I am an essential oil enthusiast. I help people to rearrange their medicine cabinet and life with essential oils. I also homeschool. I'm a homeschool mama, homeschool my son. We've been homeschooling for about 5 years now. And I am also a spiritual card reader. I do spiritual intuitive messages through the tarot and oracle card deck. Like what? I get so much. I run a private coaching group, a spiritual coaching group via Facebook, and I also have a health coaching group to help women and men to release weight.
Whoa. Okay. So, we're on shutdown. I mean, how do you facilitate all of that during this time? That's amazing.
You know what's so amazing, Shemsu, is the fact that a few years ago, I was just talking to somebody about this. A few years ago, I was predominantly 90% live in my business, right? So, I mean, I had to be there, speaking engagements, face-to-face coaching. And a few years ago, that switched and everything became more digital. And so my business model turned to a more digital mobile platform.
Yes.
So, email, Facebook, the life coach course is mobile, right? It's digital. My card readings and appointments are digital. I see more clients digitally now than ever, before. And so it actually did not change a whole lot. I do still have about 10% of live events. So I did have to postpone some of my spring equinox events that were going to take place. But I'm still able to roll with a lot more digital things because now more people are home, and I do a lunch and learn series every week where I'm teaching. This month we're doing health, which just so happened to be very much needed. It just was very in sync. So people are home. And so they're like, hey, let's see what you got going on. So the digital side has actually picked up a lot. I've been live this week about 4 or 5 times. I mean, we're doing live maybe once or twice a week.
Wow.
But my presence has really had to be picked up because of the need and the media frenzy. And so since what I bring is a lot of inspiration and motivation and, healing, it's been much needed more so now than ever. So it's been a whirlwind, but it's been great. It really has. People have been reaching out to me in various ways about their health and wanted to do better and things like that. So I'm very grateful.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so then before we actually delve into our conversation, let us just do a little bit of breathing and have everybody synchronize their breath with us and then give them an idea of what we're talking about when we say breathe to center. And then later on, we'll do more detail about the benefits of it, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'm sitting with my feet flat on the floor. I have my hands, they are on my thighs, and I'm just going to exhale the breath from my lungs, and I'm going to inhale through my nose and expand my belly as I breathe, breathing in and holding 2, 3, 4, exhaling at my belly, and I'm pushing in, exhaling and holding 2, 3, 4, breathing in through my nose. And I'm holding 2, 3, 4. I'm also exhaling through my nose. Pushing in, holding 3, 4. One more, in. And we're holding 2, 3, 4. Exhale through your nose. Pushing in, squeeze and hold. 2, 3, 4. Okay, just continue breathing naturally. And even with those 3 little breaths, we should already begin to feel the relaxation of our body and our minds starting to rest and actually feel a little bit safer and secure in its space. You didn't go to sleep, did you?
No, I'm here. I'm here. Breathe to Center is very magical, and I'm just taking it all in.
Yes, it is. And we actually, when we teach the course, when we teach Master Force, that really is our first session because it carries us through the full 16 weeks, doesn't it?
Yes. Yes. It carries us not only through the course, but the rest of our life.
Yes.
Like it's an anchor. Like we actually learn how important our breath is, and it becomes an anchor to life.
Yeah. Yeah, I am so grateful for that download for that course because right now it is everything. And even this book, Patiently Waiting for Nothing, this book was written 20 years ago. And when my spirit told me back in December or January, that I should do a relaunch. I mean, Leela has been telling me to do a relaunch for probably 5-6 years. Because when I first wrote the book, there was no social media, right? There was nobody to really share it with other than my circle. And we sold those 1,000 copies and just let it go back to sleep. So now here we are in a space where there is so much going on. And the actual quote that book came out of, the quote says, fully joyful, patiently waiting for nothing. So fully joyful for me was separate from patiently wait, because I could feel fully joyful right now, but it felt like I was waiting on something. So I started writing down a list of things that I was waiting for. And after I wrote the book, the universe started showing me that there's no need to wait for anything. Joy is in this very moment. So what do you have to say about the book? Go ahead.
So I am in total agreement. You know what? When I saw that the book was written 20 years ago, the one thing to know that you wrote it 20 years ago, when I saw the copyright, I was like, oh my God, 2001? Like this, the date looked foreign.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, wait, this was like a very foreign date. And although that's not that long ago, just seeing a day like that and knowing how we write the day now, 2020, is just like, wow, this is amazing. And the work is very much prevalent. I still feel like people, I'm including myself, are waiting for something and not patiently at all.
Well, this week, sure, our patience has been increased.
Patience is like, it's like, what is that in this day and age? Like the world, like even saying, internet in 2001 compared to 2020. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, just how we move, in our society, in our community, in our homes, we are not patiently waiting for nothing. This is so needed. Just on just such another level. And so how grateful that you are such ahead of, of a change agent. You're such a change agent that you wrote this 20 years ago already, higher self knowing that we'd be sitting here today with this, what they call pandemic, talking about patiently waiting for nothing.
Well,
like being present.
Yeah, being present. But do you know that when I actually finished the writing of the book, it was a Monday night, and on the next day, it was Tuesday, 9/11 happened.
Oh, wow.
So the book sat for that year as I actually lived through the test. Because everything is just like now. I mean, the feeling of it, right? It's very different, but the feeling of it was like now this heaviness and this insecurity and this uncertainty and this fear. It was just so much of that I literally was able to ground myself because I had written a book. And that's why I tell people all the time, be careful how you speak, because if you're talking about teaching someone how to live or be, the universe is going to test you to make sure you can live that truth for yourself.
This I know. As I have been doing more work and showing up to do work and to teach and share, then the universe say, oh, okay, you shared this thing, but let's see if you know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Because it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to teach it. And to teach it, we have to experience it.
Yep.
So let me just test you one more. Oh, you're talking about spiritual partnerships. Let me test you on that. Okay, patiently waiting for nothing. Oh, let me test you on that. Like, okay, like, oh. So I definitely get that. And as change agents, we get the harder test because we are responsible for so many souls and to be able to show people the way. So, it's interesting. It's interesting, but I feel like, in the midst of it, I might not get it right then, but on the other side, I always get the lesson. I always get it.
So then, where would you say you have been tested and expanded in the conversation of fear?
Ooh. You asked me that, Mood. I was like, my life, I'm just so used to my life that I honestly couldn't answer the question at first. I said, let me take a nap and really get the download.
Yes.
Because I'm just so used to my anxiety, right? I'm just used to my fear and my challenges. And it's just like, it's another day in the life of Qiana. But I have been tested all my life. So my first adult test would be, getting pregnant at 17 and not knowing what the heck was happening, not knowing how to tell my mom, not knowing, how I was going to bring forth this life, I wasn't, spiritual then in the sense of the knowledge, right? I just had my own DNA and being activated, but no one really quite, had taught me that part, the 5D part of myself, right?
Right.
So I knew I loved her before she was here. I knew it wasn't a question that I was going to give birth to her, but I was scared out of my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I supposed to do now, Jesus? Like, I was 17, I just graduated high school, and it's not, this was like, in our community, oh my God, it's taboo, and you found a baby. And so I was very, very afraid. And that was one of my first initiations into adulthood.
Now you were afraid. Now then, because we have so many tools now to ground us. But at 17, what did you do? Just sleep a lot? Cry a lot? I mean, how did you actually?
Yeah, I didn't have it. I did not have the tools that I have now at all.
Right.
You know what? I did cry. I've always been very independent,
mm-hmm.
and me and my mom have always been close. But that was probably the most scariest thing to me, having to tell my mom, and feeling like I was disappointing her, right?
Right.
So that was the scariest thing. So I became very strategic. That literally was my initiation into adulthood. It was like, okay, Key, I had already decided what I was going to do. And it was like, okay, well, now you made the decision, so now you got to figure out what's next. And so I became planning. I started planning what I was going to do. And it's so funny because in your book, you said fear catapult us. And that's how fear has always been for me. I went to college. I decided, because I wasn't doing any of that. I was like, I'm smart, and I got a little job. I stay at home with my mom. Like, I'm not going to college. That's stupid. Like, I just wanted to be like a little free spirit, just running the streets, having a good time. And I didn't want to go to college. I didn't want to do any of those things. I didn't want to be an adult in that sense. And so when I, got pregnant and I was scared to disappoint my mom, it was like, shit. I gotta get it together.
I gotta do something to counter this.
I gotta do something. I knew I didn't want to be a statistic. I knew I didn't want to disappoint my mom. And I knew that, I could figure it out. And so I had already been accepted to colleges. I just wasn't planning on going to any of them. So I remember calling my cousin. I talked with her and I said, I'm pregnant and I don't know what to do. And she said, well, you can come down here. They have family housing. And I was like, family housing? And so I was like, okay. So I looked into it. I had already got accepted to Southern. So I was like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. So I planned it all out. I was going to go back to school. I was going to get into family housing. I was going to have my baby and I was going to, take care of her. And I wrote my mom a letter. And I told her, I know you're going to be disappointed. I know this is not what, you wanted for me. Because she had me young, right?
Yeah.
So I knew that it wasn't what she wanted. And although she did a very great job, I know she had a lot of things that she wanted to do that she was not able to do because she had to be, her initiation. She had to be an adult and be a mom, right? So I was letting her know that I was not going to let anything stop me from doing what it was that I wanted to do. And in this sense, I wrote her that letter, but I wrote it to me as well.
Oh.
And then from there, life just kept happening and kept going. And she was very supportive and was like, well, now, you made your bed. I guess you're going to lie in it. She was like, and I'm not babysitting.
I'm not that mama.
Yeah, right. And then end up being the best grandma ever.
Still till today, she is, bringing my babies.
Very much so. Her and my daughter are, best friends. I'm almost my best friend, but she's my kid's best friend too.
Yeah.
So it worked out, very beautifully. But at the time, I didn't have Briefs Center. I didn't have, know that this child chose me, and I'm just her vessel, right? I didn't know none of that stuff. I didn't have downward parents, and I didn't have, master force. I just had, oh my God, I had sex, I'm pregnant, and in my community, that mean I'm a hoe. That mean, I'm never going to amount to nothing. I'm never going to have a good job. I'm not going to finish college. That's what it meant. In 1997, when I had my daughter, it meant something totally different than what I know it to be now. So I was very fear, but so, it did catapult me.
You've used the term initiation a couple of times, and I don't know if our audience can actually get an idea. So can you explain that a little bit and how we use the term initiation?
Yes. So initiation, or, me, how I'm using it is, going into your next phase of life or going to your next level, raising yourself to a higher frequency. I'm going to actually look up the actual word initiation too.
Yeah. Well, and then we usually in Master Force are working inside of the work of our soul. So, there's our ego, the conscious part of us that's doing day to day. And we literally are working to tap into our soul so that we're getting the download of that blueprint. So,
exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah. Did you find it?
Yes. And so it's very simple and I love it. It's like the action of beginning something.
Yes.
And exact, and I'm like, exact is initiation, beginning something new, some soul work. You were just saying your soul, dropping a piece of the ego, and getting into the soul work, seeing a different part of you, learning a different part of you that you didn't know. Like even when I just said, things that I know now, I didn't know at 17. I had to be initiated into that. I had to begin something new. I had to have faith and move forward and trust the process. Like we always say, trust the process. I've literally had to do that in some form of fashion, and I had to trust the process when I didn't even know what trust the process was. Right? Like I didn't know what that initiation and trust the process. It's an innate soul level movement. Like your soul knows what to do.
And it's a surrender. It's an actual surrender. Yeah. It's yeah. And so everybody having to sit down right now, I mean, they're fighting against that. It's like, no, I will not sit down. I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to travel. I'm going to do it, and so there are these other things that come to try to put this structure around us so that we can get grounded. and we fight so hard not to ground ourselves, don't we?
We do. Yeah. We do. We really, really do. Yeah, I have to admit, I can be a busybody.
Okay.
And I love to work. I do. I love to work. And I discovered working out a few years ago. So now I work out quite a few times a week. And I'm like going stir crazy. Like, you guys want me to do what? I need to go. I go to the movies. I go work out. What do you mean I got to sit down?
Mm-hmm.
So I went to go work out today. I said, well, I can't go to the gym, but I, thinking, being like, oh, well, I'm smart, right? I'll just go to Swallow Cliff, which is this like a hiking outdoor stairs.
Right.
And I go there and it is barricaded. It is state troopers out there that keep people out.
Wow.
Because apparently I'm not the only smart ass who thought about this. So they have it barricaded and everything. And I said, okay, universe, I hear you.
Yes.
Go home.
Yes.
Yeah, go home. And get
powerful.
grounded and, create your ritual space, like you know what to do, and do those things you know what to do. I actually came home and went after I spoke with you. I laid down. I said, hey, you know what? I know what to do. I need some downloads.
Yep.
And I need to, because so I can share tonight on the podcast. I went to sleep.
That's good. People don't realize how much work the soul does when you're resting. It's actually you move out of the way. that's why dreams can talk to us, and really actually have us see some things and integrate some things. Go to sleep.
Go to sleep. I'm telling you, I know what to do. I was like, yep, let me lay down somewhere because I'm doing too much.
Right.
And go to sleep. And I wanted to really be able to share inside of this conversation of fear. And I knew the sleep would help me do that.
So now, using fear now, like we're looking at what people are dealing with, if they wanted to use fear as an initiation to move their soul to the next level, can you give them some insight in what the triggers would be, to know that they're resisting or not getting it, or can you help them with that? Is that something you can speak to? Mm-hmm.
Sure. Resistance looks like interruption. Mm-hmm. So when you're going against what you're supposed to be doing, it looks like a barrack. It looks like the state trooper saying, "No, you can't get in here." Right? it looks like interruption. And so if you are being fearful and not relaxing and going with the flow, you're going against the grain and you'll get barricaded. So things that you are trying to do will be stopped. Places you're trying to go, you won't be able to get there. And that's spiritually, mentally, or physically. Right? Mm-hmm. It's not just on one realm. It's wherever. You'll come up against blockages. Things won't flow for you. And so you could be using this energy, because fear, it can catapult you. You could be using this energy creatively. So you could be creating inside of your own space, creating things that, painting, writing, dancing, journaling, whatever it is that you are, arts and craft, whatever you're good at, making, cooking. You could be using this for your business. There are a lot of people who, I just saw a post, one of my really good friends, her business is mostly physical. And so she is, and she's also a teacher. So now she's not in a classroom and she's not, doing her business. And so now, this is when our anxiety really can kick into overdrive, right? But instead of just letting it run rampant, we can channel that to manifest and to create whatever it is that we want to create. And so now she could take another look and see where she could be, manifesting this side of a new thing, a new beginning. What's this initiation about? What is it bringing about? And sitting down and getting the downloads to see what's next and how can you create it? How can you manifest it?
That's wonderful.
And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say really quick, even for me, like yesterday, I didn't realize how much I needed to purge. And so cleaning, you know what I'm saying? Like taking the time to do some of the things that we put off doing.
Yes.
Because we're so busy. We're patiently, not patiently waiting for something. So now we're patiently waiting for nothing so we can take this time to clean up.
Yeah. That's really great. It's so interesting because the reason why I got so excited the other day when I realized how timely this podcast was, because we really had a chance to participate in life right before this, and now we can see what it looks like in another way.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, someone says they can't hear us. I wonder, they should be able to hear us. Okay, so let me keep talking because I don't want to stop. Someone, Leela, if you can hear us, can you let us know so we can see what this is? So anyway, I got so excited because I thought, oh my goodness, this is really so timely to really look at fear, and we're in the midst of it. Here we are in fear.
Yes.
Okay? And so then it's like it's an application. We literally get to apply ourselves to the fear. And yeah, right? So we talked about this being an intimate and empowering conversation. So if we really wanted to empower people, and you've already given some really good things that they could do, but I also heard you mention the term ritual. Now, what kind of ritual do you use to ground yourself?
Oh, yes. I am such a ritual girl. And it's so funny because, again, I didn't have that word, 20 years ago. But for me, ritual means to do something with intention, consistently. And so for me, I get grounded with my essential oils and my, what are these things? I got one incense burning right now. And I'm very intentional with what I'm picking. So for today, I have my tea tree oil is what I use because we are in a state of fear right now in our society, and also of cleanliness, right? So tea tree is a great anesthetic. That, and then I have my rose quartz crystal, which is all about love. And then I have my sage, purifying the air, ushering in positive vibes. I actually have fresh flowers too that I picked up today while I was out. Beautiful fresh flowers. I have a candle burning as well, and I sprayed my room with some moon water that I created. Well, actually, my friend created it at the last full moon and gifted it to me. And I just, I just sit back and I breathe and I relax, and I just kind of just look at the flowers, think about the things I'm very grateful for, and I just let the fear just dissipate and let just the relaxation come in. And this is how I, get very grounded with myself and with spirit. And so it's like it's a grounding connection, but it's also a very uplifting and spiritual connection. And then I can just be, even if it's for a short time, or, however, and I could just set the mood for myself and just breathe. I could breathe. And then I do this often.
Yeah, so go ahead and relate. Go ahead and relate to us then the whole breathe to center and fear connection, because you were already talking about it. But give people an actual look and feel of that if you don't mind.
Yeah, breathe to center. So I'll say we move so fast we don't really breathe in our society. People don't really breathe, and it has become such a subconscious activity. And so when we breathe to center, we breathe with intention, meaning we are focusing on our breath, and we are, making sure that we are inhaling and exhaling fully, filling up our diaphragm with good oxygen, breathing through our nose. Our nose has small hair particles that cleanse the air that's going in there, which is, needed, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's why we make sure we keep our mouth closed and we breathe through our nose. We breathe in with intention. And so when we're very fearful and very scared or just like highly anxious, we're not breathing. And when we're not breathing, we cut the oxygen off to our brain, which cuts the oxygen off to other parts. And we're not able to make the best decisions. We're not able to be strategic. We're not able to be present. And so when we take the time to be intentional and say, okay, I know it's scary, right? I know this is scary, but in this moment, I am safe. And get into your breath, because then you're able to realize that your body is not in fear. You don't have to set off any alarms inside of your body saying that, should we run? Should we fight? What should we do? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? You set off a panic inside of your body, and your body doesn't, know what to do but to protect you. And so, and in the moment, you're actually not, nothing's happening, right? So to be grounded and to know that you're safe and to go into your breath, to release the anxiety is so important.
Yeah,
and it doesn't
really
take it takes like we did a few minutes earlier, right? It just takes a minute to just get inside of your breath, calm yourself down, and then you can see that you're safe, and then you can move accordingly. You can make better decisions.
Exactly. And, we don't realize that our nerve endings are actually in our stomach. They reside in our solar plexus. So when you actually belly breathe, you're sending oxygen to your parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. So that oxygen goes out through your body. And now everything is starting to feel more competent, right? Your cells are feeling competent, and you're able to get a little bit more energy, clarity, right? So the breath is so powerful, and we take it for granted. But here it is the first thing when we're born that tells us we're alive. And it's the last thing that tells us that we're dead.
Right.
So in the middle is the power of the breath. Right? Isn't that? I think it is so important for people to start studying their body and their breathing, and we only do breathe to center, and again, like you said, we breathe in through our nose, because when germs are around us and we're breathing through our nose, they actually get stuck in those hairs and they don't go down into our throat and cultivate germs. They get stuck, and we get to blow our nose, and clean it out. But if you're a mouth breather, you're breathing in everything that's around you and you're swallowing it. Right? When you swallow it, it's going into your system. So breathing in through your nose, and the reason we breathe out of our nose is more of a Qigong function, because it allows us to keep our energy central in our body. Instead of exhaling out, we're actually keeping, closing our mouth and breathing in and out through the nose, and not and keeping the mouth closed. But there are other types of breathing where you exhale through your mouth. Those are cleansing breaths. And then there's the fire breath. There's so many different types. There's nadi-shuddhi breathing. So, right? Yeah. So breathing to center is really, is something that everyone right now needs to be doing. They need to be doing breathing.
Yes, I agree. And it's a great way to take your power back, right?
Yes.
Fear is energy. And so if just think of how much energy is in this world right now, and people are fearful. How is this energy being channeled? Take your energy back. Get into your breath allows you to get control of your own energy and take your power back. Stand in your own power and create and manifest, love and light the best way you know how, and that's through your breath.
Very cool. And so when we're patiently waiting for nothing, that means we need nothing. We're not afraid of anything. We're not worried about anything. We can breathe into our joy, which is right now. No matter what, it is right now. And then when I come out of that state, of course, chaos can be all around me. But for those few minutes, I get to have that peace. And so that in itself makes me stronger and more capable in an environment of uncertainty and catastrophe and chaos. That's empowering your breathing. Yeah, very cool.
Exactly.
Oh, I love it. So, I just wanted everyone to know, too, that in the book, and you can purchase the book on Kindle, it's called Patiently Waiting for Nothing by Shemsu-t, and I think it's only $10 or whatever. And it's a short book. When I wrote the book, I was actually thinking about the men in my life who did not like to read, so I called it a bathroom book. Men like to sit on a throne and read so they can pick that book up and read one chapter and, man, be empowered for the day. It's a quick, easy read, but it's deep in the essence of what it's sharing with people. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I agree with that very much so. I think that the messages that are in it. Like I said, this was 20 years ago you wrote this, and they're very prevalent today. There's great messages inside of that, great tools, and would be a great resource to have.
Now, just a question. Who did you identify with, Miss Helen or Bobby?
So both.
Okay.
There was a point in my time when I definitely was Bobby. The woman who didn't know her purpose, was chasing external power, success, and it was like degrees and, having a point to prove because I was a young mom. And so I was like, oh, y'all not going to say I'm not nothing, right? Mm-hmm. So, chasing external power. Now I'm in such a Helen space. I'm like, feed the birds, sit down on a park bench, get grounded. Where's your sage? Oh, everything's okay. Get your oil. I'm so Helen and just flowing with, the universe. And I know that the universe is abundant and takes care of me. And so when I get into a body space, right? Because sometimes you can still, I feel like, can get there. If I get into a body space, I can go to Helen and I can say, what is it that I need? I go to my higher self and say, what is it that I need? What's going on with me? Qiana, you didn't even have your hot water this morning. Oh, okay. I missed my hot water. Okay. So, I get my cup of hot water. So I can check in and see like, okay, higher self. Am I not in my higher self? What am I doing? What am I missing? What did I miss today? And get back to the space I need to get back to. But, oh, yeah, I can relate to Bobby oh so well. And I can give her mad hugs, right? Because I get why, because I've been there, I know her pain body.
Oh, that's a good term. Yeah, Eckhart Tolle. Yeah, pain body, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I get it. And so I can appreciate her because she's, fearful, but and my lower self. That's how I kind of looked at Helen and Bobby. Was like lower self and higher self speaking to each other, right? Mm-hmm. And I can look at my lower self and I could just give her lots of hugs and love because although she was fearful, she was very brave because I wouldn't be sitting here today talking on this podcast about fear, right? She would have kept chasing external power instead of doing her work. And she was brave enough to do her work not knowing what we would be in 2020. You know what I'm saying? From 1997 to 2020, she had no idea I'd be sitting here right now.
That's really
So,
powerful. You just gave me a
yeah.
whole nother insight into, because when I wrote that, uh, Miss Helen and Bobby came up because when I finished the book, I had just had these essays for those 27 themes. And I asked my daughter, to, edit it and give me some feedback. And she was like, Mommy, if this is a book, then you have to make sure that somebody's talking to somebody. I mean, otherwise, I don't know what it is, right? So I said, okay. Right. You know how young people are, right? I think she was 17 at the time. And so I started thinking about Khalil Gibran, who was one of my favorite authors. I started reading him when I was 8 years old, right? And I said, well, who in our society could be the new day, philosopher or prophet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it came to me, some people are homeless not because they, don't have anything, but they don't want to have anything.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to be in this material world existing and being a slave to whatever it is. They want to live and be free to feed the birds or take care of whatever they want to take care of. So that's how, so I put Miss Helen and Bobby in so that there was this, these two people that could communicate. And when I shared it with my daughter, she said, okay, it's done. You're good now. That was my editor-in-chief at the time. But you just gave me another look at the higher and lower self. And that's powerful.
Wow. Yeah.
I
Beautiful.
Very beautiful. So you had a poem for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's hear the poem. Yeah, as we start winding down.
Okay. And I'm trying to see the title. Our Greatest Fear by Mary Ann Williamson.
Mm-hmm.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Wow. Now, Nelson Mandela, he actually recited that poem at his inauguration, and so people think that it was his poem, but he borrowed it from Mary Ann Williamson, and that poem is so right on time because there are so many people out there right now that are extremely powerful, and they have been sitting back, or they've just given their time, energy, and attention to what did you say, external forces?
External powers, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this is a time to take your power back. Right?
This is. Yes.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you so much. And then, so Qiana, as we start wrapping up, is there anything else you want to say about fear or anything else in the book that you want to point to?
Yeah, I just want to say, first of all, Shemsu-t, thank you so much for writing this book and re-releasing this book and having a podcast so we could speak around speak around these topics inside of the book. You had so we didn't get to talk about transmutation. I wanted to say you had I'm quoting your book. Transmutation of fear is the most powerful action I could take when I desire to move beyond my current level of existence. That for me was like, when I read that, I was like, okay, universe, I hear you. We have to take action. We can use our fear and transmute that thing to move into powerful action and get beyond our level of existence. We are just existing, and we don't have to exist, and we can use our fear to push us into something so much greater, so next level, and to raise our frequency in our life, and not only ours but the world. If we want to, really know our purpose is to do just that. Everybody has it in them to do this. Everybody is important. Everybody is a piece of this fabric of life and humanity, and just making improvements on yourself improves the world. So when you transmute that fear and take it into powerful action, you not only move yourself, but you move the world as well.
That is so right on. And it really is inside of stealing our breath. Right before, as we prepare to take action, going into our breath and allowing ourselves to trust the process and to receive the download. I mean, it gives us such a ease and grace. Otherwise, the pushing against things or wanting something to be different from what it is. We both attended Landmark Forum. So, it's like, it is what it is. It's like, I hate that. Okay, well, you can hate it all you want to, and it is what it is.
It is what it is. Exactly.
And it's like, if you could get beyond the pushing and the resisting, settle into the breath and see. Yeah, what other power is there? Yeah, very cool. So, all right, well, tell people how they can contact you, because you mentioned so many things, so much coaching and groups and in daily. How can they find you? How can they participate and really get some of that love and light that you're putting out there?
The best way to find me is on my website, www.holisticharmonyinc.biz. Facebook, Holistic Harmony Inc. Instagram, Holistic Harmony Inc. So you can find me any of those ways. Get in contact with me. Reach out to me. I'm very open and, messenger, things like that. So, yeah, you can find me under Holistic Harmony Inc.
Very cool. And then you can find Patiently Waiting for Nothing on Facebook. We have a group there. And I also want to invite you on the group page. We have cups. So we have the cup from today, which has a quote on it. And it says, "The real desire I am seeking hides in the fear, wait a minute, what is it? Listen, this is one of my favorite quotes, and I can't even remember it. The real desire I am seeking hides in the courage of me facing my fear." So that courage, right, is what's right there. And that courage is in the breath. It's in the breath, right? When you say you can access it there. Yeah. And then you can definitely, right? And anybody reaching out for Shemsu-t, I'm also on Facebook, Shemsu-t, Transformational Life Coach. And we also are there on Master Force, International Leadership Academy, and then just Master Force itself. We really have a group of amazing life coaches. We have certified over 400 life coaches. Now, I've been saying that for a few years now, so it's more than that. And I just want to thank you, Qiana, for being my partner and being someone to facilitate the courses. And you and I are talking about how we can get more of them out there. And I can't wait to see what we come up with, because we do know that people can use this work, and especially now, right?
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes. We need more healers, and it's healers. You guys are out there. We need you.
We need you, and we need you now, as people would say. All right.
Yes.
So I want to thank our audience. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And guess what? Next week, we will be here at the same time, and we will be talking to Teresa Lugo, all the way in Puerto Rico. And our conversation will be aloneness. Now look at that. Here we are. We fear and then aloneness. Aren't those the two? Talk about social distancing,
yes.
right?
Yes. This is so on time. This is so on time. Like, yeah. Thank you, Leela, for talking Moo and to reopen this book.
And Leela be so patient with me. But Mood, are we gonna do the book this year? Oh, okay. But this time I surprised her. I said, Leela, I think I'm gonna launch the book. She said, huh? And then when this stuff happened, I'm telling you, it brought tears to my eyes. I said, thank you, universe. And of course, my spirit said, thank you for listening.
Yes.
Because that's the whole thing, that still quiet voice. Sometimes we do not hear it. We don't listen. So yeah. So we'll be back next week, and we look forward to all of you joining us. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them on our page, or you can just find us in each of our individual Facebook pages too. All right, Qiana.
Thank you, Shemsu-t, so much. I love you.
Okay. Peace.
Peace.